Hello and welcome to the Yogg-Saron Analysis. So at hand we've got Yogg-Saron, as in the title. He's a 10 mana old god legendary with the effect to cast random spells on random targets for each spell you've cast this game. His stats are 7-5, but they aren't important for his effect. So today we are here to discover what his entirely random effect is actually doing. So let's get started. What's the plan? Obviously, we want to know what he's doing, if he's broken, if he's unplayable, and we really want to know what he's doing. So, to make it easier, I've made some assumptions. So, the enemy has 3 Yetis on board. That's because Yogg-Saron is a lot better if you play him behind on board, since then he can't kill your own stuff with fireballs and frostbolt and stuff. So Yogg-Saron is entirely random. You can get lucky and pyroblast the enemy's face 3 times and win. You could also heal him for 20. You don't know. So we've made some assumptions to make it easier for you to understand what he's actually doing. And the first of them being the enemy has 3 Yetis on board. Then you only play Yogg-Saron, nothing else, and you don't have a brand or something on board. Then you've played X spells. I don't know how many spells you've played, but the math is quite simple, so you can just multiply it by yourself. And then this analysis is for standard, and the Whispers of the Old Gods cards and spells aren't in it yet. I've excluded the GVG stuff, but the Whisper of the Old God stuff isn't in it yet. So, yeah, that's the assumptions. Up to the basic facts we go. So, every 4.5 spells, your opponent gets 1 damage to the face. Sounds a little weak. It is weak. So, for 10 spells you've played, your opponent gets 2 face damage. That's not that much. So Yogg-Saron isn't doing face damage. Just clear it out of your mind, he's not going to pyroblast the enemy face 3 times. You will see Forsen videos where somebody gets lucky and gets 4 pyroblasts into the opponent's face, but it could also happen the other way around, and on average he won't do that much stuff. So the enemy's minions get 0.6 damage per spell, and they take the damage all together. So if, let's say your opponent has 3 minions, you've played 10 spells, and they take 6 damage on average. If he has, let's say 3 Yetis, one of them could die, or maybe they take all 2 damage. You don't know. The damage is random. And the damage gets a lot higher when the opponent has more than 3 minions. If he has less, the damage gets lower. And if he has like 7 minions, it gets a lot higher, to maybe 2 damage per spell. Since Flame Strike and Blizzard and stuff do so much more damage on white boards than on single targets. And let's say a Fireball is as likely as a Flame Strike. And if you Fireball a Yeti, it gets 6 damage. If you Flame Strike a board with 7 minions, they take 28 together. So the Flame Strike is more than 4 times as effective as a Fireball. So that's why a big board gets more damage. Then Yogg-Saron will only take around 0.1 damage per spell. So he won't die to spells alone or the damage of spells. But there's a 2% chance for him to die instantly, due to cards like Execute or Naturalize on your own guy. And for every spell there's a 9% chance to kill a random enemy minion. So you play around 11 spells, and 1 enemy minion will die to assassinate and other stuff. Basic facts number 2. For every 14 spell you cast, you will get healed by 1. So your face is fairly safe against Yogg-Saron's attacks, and he will even heal you, but kind of by a non-value. So you play Yogg-Saron, you will get like 1 face damage from him, and then get healed by 1. And overall you don't take damage, but you don't get healed that much. Then up to an interesting one, he will share 0.2 times spell and 0.1 times spell stats with all other minions. So let's say you play 10 spells, he will share 2 attack and 1 health to all minions. So one minion might get all of them, or one minion get 1 attack, another one gets 1 attack as well, and he himself gets a health. You don't know how they are shared, but certainly he will get 0.06, so every 16 spell will get him 1 attack, and every 50 spell will get 1 HP to Yogg-Saron. Then you will draw a card for every 7 spells you've cast, which is maybe the most powerful effect of him. Since 7 is not that much, you will most likely have played 7 spells when playing him, maybe even 14, and then you draw, and draw is really important. Also for every 70 spells you will give 1 card to your opponent, but I really don't think that you will play 70 spells in a game, and even then 1 card to your opponent doesn't matter that much. Then for every 50 spells you will give your opponent a card directly into his hand, so cards like Sap do it. That if you Sap a Yeti, you will get it into his hand, but he doesn't draw it. So for you will get 1 every 20. That would be like through Vanish and through Raven Island stuff. So most of those cards will be entirely random. Since Yogg-Saron chooses the discover effect for you. So if he plays Raven Idol, he then chooses to take a spell or a minion. He chooses, not you, and then he picks one of the 3 options. So those cards are entirely random. Then for every 100 spells you will get an extra card to your deck, which is gang up mostly. And every 5 spells you will get 1 mana worth of secrets. So for 10 spells you get maybe a freezing crab, for 15 you get an ice block, stuff like that. And for every 66 spells 1 minion might become a boar, sheep or frog. So those are the hex effects, but you won't see them that often since 66 is a very high number. Up to the last facts we go. You will get a minion spawned, which has 1/6 of your spells and 1/5 of your spells as health. So let's say you played 6 spells, it's most likely a 1/1 minion you will get. Then you will also get overloaded by a 20th of the spells you've cast. So 20 spells equal 9 mana next turn. And every 66 spells you will give an ambush to your opponent's deck that's from beneath the grounds, and you will someday spawn the 4/4 Neorubian. Not that powerful, but still fun effect. Up to the fun facts we go. There's a 0.5% chance for you to go into Shadow form, the Priest Shadow form, where you get the new hero power and the Black Portrait, which is like every 200th time, or every 200th spell. And there's also a 0.5% chance per spell to discard your entire hand, and a 0.25% chance to get the Force of Nature Savage Roar combo, which is like a game-winning combo. Blizzard also wants to nerf the combo, and you have a not that low chance to get the combo. And if the treants don't die during Yogg-Saron's effect time, then you have a combo right to go. Now, what everybody was waiting for. Yogg-Saron is doing exactly that. Let's say you play 10 spells, which should be the average. Maybe you play a little more, maybe a little less, but around 10. If you play 20, don't ask me how, then just multiplayer with 2, not that hard. Okay, your opponent's face will take 2 damage, 2.2 to be exact. That's not that much. It's worse than a Frostbolt directly to a face. So he is not doing face damage. The enemy minions will take 6 damage, also not that much. Then himself will get 1 damage, and Yogg-Saron has a 20% chance of him getting insta-killed. So every 5th time you play him, he will die during the process. And one enemy minion might get assassinated. You don't know if it will be 2, but on average it's 1. You draw 1.5 cards, which is kind of the only good thing about him so far. And you will almost heal 1 HP. So he is not healing you, your opponent is not getting damage. And he will give 2+2+1 and a 10th of a divine shield to a random minion. So all those effects, he's doing a lot, but he's not doing something special. He's not doing that much. He assassinates one guy, your opponent takes 2 phase damage, the enemy minions take 6 damage. So overall, he is improving the conditions of the board and the game with this effect, because it's mostly positive for you, but it's not that strong. So he will also play a 2-mana secret if you've played 10 spells, on average. Of course, all those effects are on average. So for example, he could play an explosive trap, and he will also spawn a 2/2 minion without any effect, which is not that impressive. You will also get a half random card to your hand, and for every 10th time you do this, you will also get 1 to your deck. Again, not that impressive. He's doing a lot, but he's doing nothing really special, and it's definitely random. So the question, is he worth it? Probably not, but you know, anything can happen.